today was the worst. Ooh, what's this?
Happy Valentine's Day!
Yay, that's so sweet! We've never done anything for Valentine's Day before.
Go get changed. Dinner will be ready in a minute.
Okay, yay! Really?
What? Tabletop games are a social experience, designed to be played with 2 or more players in the same setting. Like many video games, such as modern first-person shooters and MMOs, the enjoyment comes from playing with other people. Unlike video games, board games require people socializing in the same location. And unlike video games, most board games can't be played solo. But even with a dedicated board gaming group, it can be difficult to get enough players to put a game together. That's why board gamers love 2-player games. That way, they have a game they can play anytime with friends, family, or significant others. That's why for this Valentine's Day, we're going to show you some of our favorite 2-player only board games. Isn't that right, sweetie? In Mr. Jack, one player acts as the detective trying to figure out the identity of the villainous Jack the Ripper. Each round, the players alternate turns and characters in order to manipulate who has been seen and who is hidden. The detective wins the game if they are able to land a character on top of the correct suspect and declare him to be the culprit. Mr. Jack wins if he can keep himself undetected for 8 rounds, or if he can escape the city without being seen. Characters are only seen if they're next to a light source or next to another character. Each character has a special ability that lets them manipulate the board by changing character locations, light sources, shortcuts, and so on and so forth. Mr. Jack is a great game to learn with someone. As both players play as Mr. Jack and the detective, they start to learn the different strategies and options available in the game. There's also a Mr. Jack expansion and a Mr. Jack in New York, and if you like, a Mr. Jack Pocket.
I hate you.
The Blood of an Englishman pits one player as Jack against the other player who plays the Giant. The Jack player needs to make sets of cards, or stalks, to reach each of the 3 treasures. If he can get 6 cards of increasing value in his own personal stalk and top it off with the gold, harp, or goose, he'll find himself one step closer to victory. Meanwhile, the Giant is trying to line up the fee, fi, fo, and fum cards horizontally in front of the stacks, or next to each other in the same stack. Jack takes 3 small actions a turn. The Giant makes one sweeping move each turn that can completely alter the playing field or remove a card completely. This is a tough game to crack at first as you try to figure out the strategies. So far, I've only played as Jack and I've only won once, and that was after an illegal move I made. The next game on our list is Jaipur. This small little card game has long been considered an ideal 2-player game. Here, 2 players act as merchants in the markets of Jaipur, India, trying to trade goods such as gold, silver, linens, and spices in order to make the most money and win the favor of the Maharaja. Players can take a single card or trade out multiple cards from their hands for different goods. Players also have camels that act as extra resources that can be used to trade without extending their hand limit. If players sell goods in sets of 3, 4, or 5s, they get a special token that gives them bonus points at the end of the game. When either the deck or 3 stacks run out, the round ends. Best out of 3 wins. Jaipur is a small game with a lot going on. Every time you do something, you're leaving openings for your opponent to have a counter move of their own. You're haggling back and forth between the center aisle, trying to make sure you have enough camels or pieces to sell whatever it is you want to sell before your opponent's able to sell it themselves. But the more time you take, the more chances you have for your opponent to catch up to you and sell their own items before you, outselling you and ending the game right under your nose. And that's why I think Jaipur makes an excellent but what are you doing?
Signing up for Match.com.
Oh, okay. What? Hive is an award-winning abstract two-player game played with hexagon tiles. Each player is trying to completely surround the other's queen bee, using ants, spiders, grasshoppers, beetles, and more creepy crawlies to move around the hive. Each bug has its own moveset. Grasshoppers can hop over other pieces, ants can travel all the way around the outside of the hive, while spiders can only move 3 spaces. The copy we're playing here is Hive Pocket, a smaller version of the original game. What I love about Hive Pocket is its portability. It's small and made of sturdy pieces so you can take it with you anywhere. It's easy to play on a plane or at the airport, or even outside waiting for dinner at a restaurant. It's a tactical little game that plays quickly and can get really addicting. So there you have it, some of our favorite two-player games. There's plenty of other ones we can talk about, and we will at a future time. But for now, we here at Geekundspiel want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. See you all later!
No!